Welcome to Healthy Skeptics. We're a sarcastic mom-daughter duo taking on life, wellness, and all the trends that make us roll our eyes. I'm Dr. Michele, the functional medicine practitioner who's been around long enough to spot the BS, and this is Kate, my slightly rebellious but highly skeptical co-host.
We're here to question everything because, let's be real, most things aren't as deep or as life-changing as people claim. Expect blunt conversations, a little sass, and a lot of, did they just really say that? Moments. Grab a drink, get comfy, and let's talk about the things no one else will say out loud. Hello. Okay, welcome back to Healthy Skeptics. We missed last week because life was lifing.
Lots of lifing.
Lots of lifing has happened over the last couple of weeks, but we're back and we're going to be better at showing up every week. So in true fashion from last time we recorded, we're going to bring up some stuff that's happened over the last couple of weeks and chat about it from a health perspective.
Are we? I don't even, now you say that and I'm like, okay, what the heck are we going to bring up?
I don't know. We're going to talk about stuff.
I don't know. I know what she wants to talk about because I have been doing our restore. Well, one thing, because it just came up like 4 seconds ago.
Yeah.
But I've been doing our Restore 30 program.
Why? Tell us a little bit about why you decided to do the program that we created.
Well, it's okay. So this is funny, right? So our program was created out of all of the women that we've helped and seeing like some consistencies that we can do. And we also want to be able to give people the foundations that they can build on for a long period of time, right? So, I mean, without these foundations, I don't care what you do out there, nothing is going to be sustainable. So that was how the program was created. And I was actually like, life has been life. Like I've been lifing for a few years now and have gained weight, lost energy. I guess the only thing that didn't change over that time, like on the bad side, is I still sleep like a rock. So that is a gift I get every single night. But everything else just fell apart. And so
why? Can you share? I mean, I know why. What's happened over the last, but like talk a little bit about like, I think it's important because at 64, how old are you?
64, thank you.
64. Yeah. Like menopause is over. You didn't like, there's no like big womanly shift. And I think everyone's like, oh, menopause. And then your body changes and everything happens right after menopause and around that time.
No.
And
didn't happen with me.
No. And that's kind of, yeah. And so, being 64, but having these big shifts later in life from 61, like the last 3 years has totally changed your body because your environment and how you've been living your life actually completely shifted at 61 years old. Right. And I think that's important to talk about because when we're talking about like root cause of health issues, everyone and women, especially, we want to look at hormones. It's hormones. So it must be perimenopause, or it must be menopause, or it must be post. I don't know.
Whatever.
And and it's not. I mean, it is in the sense that like hormones are reacting and they can cause symptoms, but they're hardly ever a root cause of anything. And when we look at your situation in your life, like I can let you share, I guess I'll shut up. But what were the big shifts that put you into this place where now hormonally you probably are struggling, but that isn't the root?
No, but I guess part of it is, it's so funny. It's like, we used to say, there's an old saying about the shoemaker's kids go, without shoes, right? And here I am in this. No, yeah, it's an old saying. It's kind of like, what you're doing, you're doing something for everyone else, and then you don't take care of yourself, or you don't take care of your family. So
what's
like, I know
saying?
It's I can't remember it exactly, but it's something like the shoemaker's kids don't have shoes, like they go barefoot. because he doesn't have the time to make them shoes, but he makes everybody else shoes. So it's this idea.
It's not a saying, but okay, go ahead.
Oh my gosh, I'm looking it up. It is a saying.
No, it's fine. Shoemakers' kids have no shoes. Go ahead. Continue.
Yeah. So the saying, the shoemaker's children have no shoes, or the cobbler's children are the worst shod, apparently I should say that with an English accent, means that skilled professionals often neglect their own needs or those of their families while focusing on others. It's an old saying. So I was just going to say is like, so I know all the things, all the things are in my head. Mm-hmm. And then, life happened, my husband had a serious illness, and that took a lot of time and effort to help with that. We started.
Just retired.
Well, that too. That was a huge change for me because he did travel.
He traveled
5 days a week.
Yeah, big change, like huge. You have another person in your space.
And in the business, I mean, there's a lot of external stresses. Mm-hmm. And I did not pay attention to where I was taking care of myself. I did not. Mm-hmm. And by taking care of myself, I mean managing my stress, eating well, exercise. I mean, oh my God, I used to play tennis 3 times a week. I was golfing. I went for a walk every single day for at least 45 minutes because I loved it, not because of any other reason, because I'm not an exerciser. And so, I was very, very active. And then I went from that to stop everything. And now I'm every ounce of energy I had was literally going to other people. I mean, for a long period of time. So here I am, 45 pounds heavier than I've ever been in my entire life, including pregnancy, and not feeling very good, like just, lower energy and motivation was low.
Cranky, snapping at everybody.
Don't go there.
I'm kidding, not kidding, but it's fine.
But anyway, so there were a lot of things. And so I was like, oh, I should do a program.
Yeah, she goes, I should really I should get on a program or something so that I can follow it and I don't have to think. And I was like, No,
you did not. You didn't say anything. I think I called you one morning and I go, hey, I'm going to do a. So anyway, that's why it started.
Yeah.
But like I said, and then it's actually going pretty well. So I said, I was telling Kate, it's going really well. And I actually posted a little video today on, because I'm trying to be accountable. And I just said, wow, I can just feel I feel lighter and my inflammation is much lower because I can actually cross my legs. I can cross my legs, which I haven't been able to do in a year. Literally can't sit on the floor to play with my grandkids. It's really bad.
Yeah.
So anyway, but then we were talking right before the podcast, and I said, I think I'm going to do 75 hard. He goes, what are you talking about? And I said, I need a program so that I get back into walking every day.
What's happening right now is you're worried that the program is going to end in 8 days and someone's not going to be there holding your hand to get you to do stuff.
Yeah, I'm not accountable to anyone anymore. I'm good at that. I can be accountable.
Be accountable, but you could go do program. You're going to program hop and first of all, 75 hard is not a good option for anybody in a stressed state. And the things that they tell you to do aren't good for you anyways.
Well, I would modify it to my own thing, but it was.
That's not doing the program. And then I was like, fine, just commit. Then just say in your brain, I'm going to walk every day for 75 days.
And then I said, I've been trying to do that and it ain't happening.
So what makes you think?
I don't know. Because you go, oh, I'm doing a program. And then your brain kind of shuts and you go, oh,
Great, Mom, you're doing a program. It's called walking for 75 days.
No, you're right. I should just be able to do it myself.
Yeah. And part of it is part of this problem we all have of needing someone to tell us what to do. It's just a lack of commitment and follow through.
Yeah, no, you're right. But it's nice. But I have to say it's nice to have something that you look forward to now every day. Like I look forward to every day, you know, listening to your video. And even though I know the information, it's just that's just reminder after reminder after reminder. Like, yeah, all the things that I kind of pushed aside and knew, and didn't follow, now is coming back in front of me to say, oh, well, this is how I need to be back in my zone.
So what you want to do then is take that notebook that you've been
coaching 101.
Take that notebook that you've been filling out, right? Then all of the things, what I would do at the very end is make a list of all of the routines that you've been doing over the last 30 days and then go, great, for 3 months, this is my checklist.
Oh, that's a good idea.
There's your program.
Oh, thank you.
Because you haven't even got to the movement part. You're just starting that. Yeah. That's the last week of Restore 30. And so you'll have a few other things and just make a check. Like that's what that notebook's for. So you can make a checklist and you have your like rest, eat, move every day. That's the whole point, is to get you in the habit. And it's something I did. You wake up in the morning. It's not even something you have to plan like a week in advance. Like wake up in the morning. Maybe you have like index cards or something, but you planned it out. You're like, when am I going to rest? When am I going to eat? When am I going to move today? And just look at your calendar and put it and like write it on the index card, because that's going to keep you accountable because you wrote it down and now it's there.
Yeah.
I'm going to get you some index cards or just a Post-it note.
I have a lot of them.
So just do that.
I have 4 million recipe cards upstairs in the office from when I was studying for board, because I took them everywhere.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So that's what you're going to do. So like, just like you did in the notebook every day, rest, eat, move. You're going to plan it out every day for the next 3 months.
Okay.
That's it.
Well, so that covered one of your topics that I knew you were going to nail me for. So I figured I'd jump ahead and like, just, blurt it all out at the beginning, but what else was there? I know something that made me crazy today, but that's a whole nother topic.
We're gonna talk about that for sure.
Or next week.
But I think that drove me bananas. So I was having a conversation with a friend, and we were talking about laundry detergent, and she was talking about, she's like, she has 2 boys. She's like, they're so hard on their stuff. I've tried all the non-toxic laundry detergent. It doesn't work. I'm just using like the highly toxic stuff now, blah, blah, blah. She's like, it's the only thing that stops my house from being stinky all the time. And she was like, I think you guys need to put out like, what are non-negotiables, but what are also the things that like don't matter as much as the internet says that they matter. And then unless you have the research to back it up, stop making the claims. And then I was like, it's funny you bring that up because you had sent me. Yes. You had sent me this big long thing from this woman.
Oh my gosh. Who said, the soap, the dishwashing stuff. Like Dawn or, Palmolive or whatever. Dish soaps. Yes.
Yeah. Dish soaps.
And how it's tied to your gut health and it's really going to just destroy you if you use these bad things. I was like, what the heck are you talking about?
Well, my favorite part of that was when she said this dish. Okay. The dish soap is meant to cut through grease and fat and all that stuff. So you don't think that it's cutting through your gut lining walls?
I'm like, are you eating it? Like, because the diarrhea you're going to have from that is going to clean you out pretty good. But I'm like, how in the world? You have to be eating it, first of all. Secondly, are you just like putting it on your pans and then cooking and then you're ingesting it? Like, you have to ingest it for that to even happen.
Yes, but your gut lining is a barrier between your gut and your colon, okay? Like it's way further down. You like, it has to make it past your stomach acid, like all of these other things that are there to prevent bad things from getting into your digestive system.
But it doesn't matter. It's dish soap. You
I know.
wash a pan and then you rinse your
Rinse it.
pan and
But
then
it's
you
residue.
put it away.
It's residue. It's
Rinse it
residue.
with hot water.
But this brings up a point of like,
Hot water,
okay,
use hot
there
water.
are ingredients, right? So the surfactants, the parabens, chlorine,
Yes, all of the above.
phytates, all of those things in this dishwasher, in dish soap, in lots of things.
Yeah, dish soap.
That there is individual research on how those things impact our hormones, hormone disruptors. They can impact the gut microbiome, things like that. That is all true to an extent.
Probably only in male mice. Okay. Anyway.
Well, yeah, but also,
but it's like, show me. Here's the thing. All of those things. Sorry, I'm interrupting you. All of those things in high doses every single day, high doses every single day would impact you. The bottom line is you need to have a functioning system so you can deal with all of the crap that you don't have control over or need to use or whatever.
See, that's what you just said, something really important. It's a need to use situation, right? So like, I think that, we're exposed to way more of these things, endocrine disruptors and microplastics. And someone DM'd me about microplastics the other day and all this stuff. Like, yes, there's a lot more in our environment. And there's a lot to be said about, okay, if we take all the things out of our environment and try to be as clean as possible and low tox as possible, that it could help. And I'm not saying that that's not true. Like it can, but to the extent at which you're able to do that. Because just let's say you're only able to, both from a money perspective, because this stuff's expensive when you get down to it, from a money perspective, from a stress perspective, like access, right? You do the things that you're able to do and know that it's having an impact. But if you need a laundry detergent for your stinky boys, or, dish soap just isn't in the budget to spend $30 on a dish soap. But you can get access to really clean water. And like maybe your budget is going towards a really great filtration system.
Right.
Or
which is a lot better because that you're actually
consuming. Right? So I think it's important that I'm not knocking the low tox stuff. And I'm not saying that it can't, like certain ingredients that we're exposed to a lot more of today is impacting us, of course, but you do what you can do. And that actually, the doing what you can do, even if it's just one thing, you're actually making a huge difference. And people want to disregard that completely. Right. Like they want to be like, well, it's only one thing. It's like, no, like awesome. That's way better. Like that you're going to see improvements. And essentially the stress that living these low tox lifestyles and pushing your budget to the max, and being fearful, now you're going to have a bunch of people walking around thinking they're putting holes in their stomach. She's not really explaining what that really looks like. Anyways, and the fact that your gut lining actually regenerates in 48 hours. P.S. The thing that impacts it the most, well, anyways, doesn't matter. Your gut lining, it regenerates. We heal very quickly, all of those things. So it's this big fear. I'm so
tired of all of
my favorite thing was at the end. She was like,
oh, what is she selling? P.S.
Well, buy the dish soap. So she's selling a dish soap.
Yeah.
Then she's like, and also get my 35 pages of supplement support for gut health.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, what's a supplement? What are we doing? Because that's always the answer, right? we're going to cut out all the toxins in our life, and then we're going to overload your system with supplements, and then you're going to heal. Like that is that's like the tagline of holistic medicine.
It is
Low
right now.
tox,
bad.
clean life with 1,000 supplements.
I know, it's so bad.
And that's healing. And it's like,
oh, go ahead.
no, I'm just like, it's not. And look at you, for example. The reason why you got unhealthy had nothing to do with your dish soap, the supplements you weren't taking, your food quality. It had nothing to do with any of those things. It had to do with purely from a stress perspective, what was happening in your body from the amount of stress that you were under from not prioritizing yourself, from giving, right?
Well, it was just not managing, like not realize, like not even acknowledging that it was happening. Like I really was just like, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't fine, but I'm fine.
Right. So I'm like, okay, but this tagline that we have of, okay, if we just like low tox everything and then give ourselves a bunch of supplements, like we're going to heal. It's like, actually, that actually won't do anything, because if your body's under a constant assault and your hormones are reacting to messages that they're getting from the lifestyle that you're living, and lifestyle meaning not I'm eating, my high tox lifestyle or whatever, like lifestyle meaning how you're actually living your life. Are you
rest, eat, move, rest, eat, move,
yeah,
rest, eat, move,
right?
No, but I was going to say too, another piece of all of this is, there's a lot of it in the news, and red dyes and blah blah. Not those things aren't important, but there are things that are more important, and that we should be doing, not whatever whatever we want to try and remove from our food. It's like it's we're always looking for a bad guy. We're always looking for, what's the one reason that I feel like crap. Yeah. And it's like, so, I'm going to change my dish soap. I'm going to change my laundry detergent, or I'm going to, do whatever. And it's like, yeah, okay.
Because it's easier to do that than to leave a bad relationship or switch jobs or uproot or set boundaries, or be honest with the people in your life that you haven't been honest with, or, move your family.
No,
like,
yeah,
those are big things, especially if they're patterns that you've been doing over and over and over again your whole life. Yeah, I'm gonna opt in for the laundry. Like, yeah, let me just change out my dish soap. That sounds a lot better.
Oh no, it's really, really.
Let me just
have to give up a couple of Starbucks a month, but I can pay for that dish soap. That's no problem at all. No, it is. It's ridiculous.
Let me just get the cortisol supplement. Like that's give me the happy juice. Like that sounds like a better idea than
Well, you know what? Speaking of happy juice, though, it's probably why there are cannabis shops on every freaking corner. I cannot believe, like, I'm up on the Cape a little bit. I mean, literally, there's cannabis and a Dunkin' Donuts like every 4 blocks. And then, no, I'm dead serious.
Well, it's just funny.
Yeah, exactly. Think about it, right? I go and get my THC. I get a little bit hungry. I go across the street to Dunkin' Donuts, and I chow down on donuts and coffee. I mean, it's it's crazy. But it is this. We have a hard time with hard things. We just do, generally as people, we'd like to just run away from them or ignore them, or find a quick fix to make it feel better for a minute. And it doesn't work. So, and we all know this, like in the back of our heads, everybody knows this. And yet it's so darn difficult to break through that and actually do what you need to do in order to heal.
Well, yeah, and I had just posted this on Instagram, like the people pleasing behavior and the peacekeeping behaviors.
What's your combo?
Well, to the point of like most women probably fall in one of the two categories.
Yeah.
And it's just speaking of like doing hard things, if you are one of those two people, you've probably either spent all of your life, for whatever reason, that it's stemming from. I don't even, so you need to overanalyze your whole life to figure out why you're doing these things, but you do need to recognize that you are, right? So for whatever reason, why you feel the need to people please, like why you really need people's approval and why you really want to be liked, like as long as you can recognize that that's what you're doing, it's really hard when that's ingrained in your head to set a boundary, to say no. And it's going to be hard for a really long time.
Yeah.
Or if you're a high achiever, and that's where you're getting your like dopamine hits and your value, then it's going to be really hard to pull back, to close down an arm of your business, to not be working out 6 days a week. It's going to feel really uncomfortable and gross to like sit down and read a book or watch a whole movie with your family or whatever. Like that just doesn't feel good. Or if you're
without folding laundry or doing some other kind of work.
Yes. Or if you're a peacekeeper, it's going to feel really hard to tell the truth. Like really, really hard to tell the truth. And then you have to practice it and do it over and over again. And it makes you want to vomit. I only say that from experience. Until it doesn't, until one day it doesn't, right? But like that's the hard things. Like then, yeah, it's great to look at your sleep hygiene and if you're walking and what you're eating and all of those things. But now you've just created space to be able to do that.
Right.
Because now your body's feeling safe in a way it hasn't before. Now you're not using excuses like your busyness that you've created because you're people pleasing or because you're a high achiever. That's gone. So what are you going to fill your time with? Well, you might as well start cooking some home cooked meals and going for walks. You got time now, right? Like it changes the approach, it changes the game. You can make your own laundry detergent now. Got time.
Hey, just like Borax and stuff. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting, but anyway.
It's just, I think that to your, like the wellness world, like we want an enemy, right? So whether it's carbs or whether it's meat or whether it's dish soap or whether it's red food dye 40 or whether we want something easy to remove that's going to make us feel better, because removing the other things, like doing the real hard things and becoming really self-aware and like I said, like whatever that is, where now you're telling people no, or you have to tell people the truth or whatever that it like, fuck, screw that. Like, sorry.
I have to try to figure out how I beep that.
Yeah. It was only the first syllable.
We'll let it go.
I'm just saying like that's not the thing that we want to do. It's often the thing that makes the biggest difference. And we have clients all the time that the second they grasp that concept and they find the thing that they're like, okay, I know I have to do this. I know that's immediately where like switch flips. Now they're doing everything. Now they're feeling really good. Now they have all this space. Now they're growing their own freaking broccoli sprouts and sending us pictures of it. Right.
Hey, speaking of broccoli, can you water my potato while you're there?
Yeah, I'm looking right at it.
Give it some water.
Yeah. Anyways. Well, that was great. Thanks for letting me poke at you a little bit today. It's important. I think it's an important conversation to have.
We do. And it's funny, between the two of us, I think that we have a lot of important conversations we can have just using our own experiences, both personally and with the clients that we've worked with. I think that there's a lot of good insight that we'll be able to share while we have these conversations on the podcast. So, yeah. But anyway, tune in next time, because I was on freaking fire today, but we need a little bit of time.
Like a couple days. We're gonna record this in a couple. Yeah, we're gonna record this in a couple days. So this will be fresh.
It will be fresh, but it'll be well worth it, because there are actually 2 points in the conversation. One is about the big V word, And the other one is just about in general how medical education happens, like what's going on. And that was the part that I was the most on fire about. So anyway, if you can't tell, I get a little bit passionate about these things. So anyway, tune in next time for that. It'll be a great conversation.
Perfect.
Thanks for being here.
Bye.
Bye.